When you want to put a bill onto the system on FreeAgent, they've recently changed how to do it. So we just thought we'd launch a new video so you can see all the new options it will give you. This video is going to show you just how to put a basic bill on. If there's more than one cost category or you want to match more than one bill on the bank, then please check out the other videos that will go into those. We'll show you how to do those in more detail. This is just for a basic bill. This is Sarah's Marketing Magic. This is a fake account. It's not real. It's just something we're using for demo purposes. If we go into bills, this is where you would add a new bill. And if I can just show you, if I just drag over, this is the bill that we've received. It's from Q6 Car Wash. It's from consultancy services, and they're VAT registered. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this bill out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And that's the bill we're going to put on the system, and we're going to attach that bill to the system. So the first thing we'd always recommend is, obviously you can see Q6 Car Wash there, so you can see they're already set up as a contact on the system, especially if there's more than one of you, but even if it's just you, people forget. So we would always go to the supplier account. So you can do that by just clicking on the name of the supplier, and we'd go on to bills, and we'd make sure that that bill is not already on the system, because obviously if it is, we don't want to put it on again. So the bill we want to put on is SCO59. I can see that SCO58 is on the system. So the one we're looking at isn't, so we know that we can put it on. If it was already on the system, obviously you would stop now because you don't want it on twice. To then put it onto the system, if we go back to bills, we could then do add new bill. In FreeAgent, everything that's kind of important is big green buttons. We know the supplier is already on the system, so we're going to go down and find Q6 Car Wash. The reference is really important. If there is an invoice number on any of the bills that you're dealing with, put them on the system. If there's two bills on the same date, but you've put the invoice numbers on, you can make sure you can tell straight away that that's not a duplicate of the same bill. And everyone's invoice numbers that they send invoices to you with should be a unique number. So there should never be the same number used more than once. So I'm just going to put on SCO059. Then from looking at the bill, it's quite an old bill. It's going to say that the bill date is the 5th of the 11th, 2020. Again, you should always put things on the date that it says on the invoice, because this is the tax point. You shouldn't put it on when you pay it or anything else. You should always put the date that it has on the invoice. They're really handy because they've put a due date as well. A lot of the time it's 30 days or it's the end of the next calendar month. Usually if it's a big supplier, especially some of the buildings merchants, they'll always have somewhere on the invoice what their terms of sale are. In this case, the due date is the 5th of the 12th. So I know I can put the 5th of the 12th down. It's really important if there is a due date to put it down, because then FreeAgent will let you know when it's overdue. If you don't put a due date in, FreeAgent won't know when they're expecting payment. Currency is pound sterling. Now this is a bit that's slightly changed in the last few months. You can put totals on the bill excluding VAT, or you can put the totals including VAT. We always select including VAT because it's just easier to put the total on the whole amount, on the whole invoice, rather than trying to put subtotals in. So we always put including VAT. In this case, it's a single cost category on this invoice. So they're charging us for consultancy services. It's not multiple things. Again, there's another video showing you the multiple option. So we're going to make sure that we keep it on a single item. And then we're going to go down and say, well, it's consultancy fee, because that's what it is. We're going to put the total amount, and because we've said it's up here, we've said it's including VAT. This also reminds you this is including VAT. So the whole total is 2874. And does it have VAT or not? Yes, it has 20% VAT included in that total. If we go down here, we're then going to attach the invoice to the file. It's always a good idea to attach paperwork straight to the file. It's like you're filing away your VAT or your tax return as you go. If you ever need to query or think there's anything wrong with the information entered, it's all attached, and so you can check it. So I'm just going to drag over the car wash and I'm going to save and review. So automatically it has created the bill for you. You can see all the information, so you can double check you haven't done anything wrong. You can see that there's an attachment which you can blow up and look at. So you can again double check from this that everything you've put in is correct, and we've got 2874, 2874. At this point, if you had accidentally clicked not including that, you would soon see that the total doesn't agree, and you could go in and just pick the other option. Again, if anything's wrong, you can just edit the bill details. It will take you back to the back screen and you can change anything that you've done that was wrong and save the changes at any time. None of this is sort of locked, so you can always go back and fix things. Now that we've raised the bill on the system, if I go into Q6 car wash and I go into the bills, we can see that there's 58 and there's 59 and that this is somewhat overdue, and that it includes VAT. Again, at this point, if you suddenly realise that all of these have got VAT and this one doesn't, you might go, oh, that's a bit strange, and go back and check what you've done. The second stage, once you've got the bill on, say a few days later, you've gone and paid the bill and it's come through on your bank feed, you just need to match the bill to your bank feed. When you match it to the bank feed, you can see there's a paper clip. The bill has already been attached, so the paperwork is already filed on the system. So you just need to match it on the bank feed. You don't need to reattach it again. So if we go into bank accounts and I go into here, because I know this is where it is, you can see that's the payment. Sarah's been really helpful and put the reference number for the invoice on the payment, so it's even more obvious that this is the payment for that invoice. And what we can do is go down and match it. A payment would be something if there wasn't a bill attached and you were just matching a payment on the bank. So we need to click on the option and change it to bill payment. When we change it to bill payment, it automatically changes so that you can see a list of all the bills that you have on the system that haven't been paid yet. If this was a long list and there was lots and lots of items on here, you can sort of filter it by the name of the supplier. So I started typing in Q6, it would just say that one. If you know how much the bill is for, you can start typing in the amount of the bill. If you know, I believe if you know the invoice number, it will again filter. So you can filter the list in lots and lots of different ways. If the bill you're looking for isn't on here, it may be that you've already paid it. So you just need to go back to the bill and check why it's not in the list. I'm going to pick the car wash because I know that's the right bill, and I'm going to explain the transaction. As soon as I do, it goes green. It says that's great. You've explained this transaction and you've matched it against the bill. If for any reason you want to check, like later on maybe you want to go back and check the bill, there's a little shortcut right at the end that takes you straight back to the bill. So you can check it. And again, if you go back into the supplier account, you can see, you can see that the bill has been paid. In this instance, we get a lot of clients saying, why do we bother with bills? If you have a supplier that you use regularly, this method of putting a bill on and then matching it later will, one, remind you that you owe them money, and two, it will keep a record of the relationship you have with that supplier over time. So for this example, if we had gone into the bank, so it was paid on the 5th of November. So if we had gone into the bank on the 5th of November 2020, and just find the transaction again. So if we'd gone into the bank and just attached the invoice to this payment, it may be that we wouldn't have noticed that when she paid the bill, she actually transposed two of the figures. So instead of paying 2874, she accidentally paid 2847. Because we've raised it as a bill and because we've then matched that bill to the payment, we can see straight away that she hasn't paid all of the bill, and that's £27 that she still owes the supplier. By adding it on as a bill, we can then talk to the supplier, tell them, sorry, we've underpaid you, either pay them the rest or obviously agree that that would be paid the next month if we were going to use them again. The other reason for putting bills on the system is that it's very easy to attach the same bill to more than one payment. So if you paid a supplier twice, it would be very easy for you to just attach SO59 to both of those payments and be none the wiser. By putting bills on like this and then matching them one at a time, you can't match the same bill to more than one payment. There would be another payment read on the bank and you would immediately realise that you've overpaid the supplier. Sometimes these overpayments can be a lot of money. So by putting them on as bills and matching them, firstly, you know who you owe money to. Secondly, you can tell if you've under or overpaid anyone. And thirdly, you can tell if you've double paid anybody. We've also had cases where suppliers have said that they haven't received a payment. You can actually create a statement of account of all of the ins and outs, all of the invoices you've had from them and all the payments you've made. And you can send this to them by PDF. So you can say, well, look, this is what we think has happened. And these are the payments that we have sent you. A lot of the time, if you do this, they will then find the missing payment and they will not be after you anymore. So it's a very powerful part of FreeAgent that you should be using when you have agreed terms of credit with the suppliers. If you just go in a shop and buy something and pay for it straight away, it's not so important. But for supplier accounts, it is really important.